They say, don't care how much digital we are, we digitally late. It can't work that way. Welcome to a celebration that sometimes can bring emotions. A celebration where we're celebrating the retirement of Calypso Splinter. Anthony Splinter Bryan has retired from Calypso after he's going to tell you how many years, uh, since 78. 78. Who are good mathematicians here? Check it out. We see exactly what. It is the retirement, Calypso retirement celebration under the theme, the step to a journey's end. And that is the steps that is made by Dr. Splinter and ending at 2024. We're going to begin with the national song. It's going to be played by two well-known musicians, Kenneth Maynard and Lennox Vanderpool. Stand. Thank you. Wasn't it lovely? Wasn't it lovely? We're going to continue and we're going to have the invocation, and it's going to be done by Canon Reed Simon. He's doing a 3-in-1 here.
Good night. Good night. Before I offer the invocation, I just want to add my voice to the chorus of voices that will extend heartiest congratulations and thank you to our brother Splinter. A couple of months ago, I was doing something for him and his brother, and he reminded me that we met before. As one who comes from a Calypso country, and certainly Calypso village, I would have heard one or two of his songs, but I never knew the man. And I was trying to work out, well, where did I meet you? And he reminded me that he came to church one Tuesday night, where we would normally have at least monthly healing services, and we had a prayer session. And my thanks tonight is not only for what he has done for us as a community, as this island of Anguilla, but very especially that God has blessed him in innumerable ways. God has rested his healing hand on him, and he stands today as a testimony to God's goodness and love.
Amen.
And so in the midst of all of this, we thank God for what he has been able to accomplish. We're thankful that as a social prophet, because I do believe that is what Calypsonians are, they are social prophets. And as I said, I've been exposed to a number of them. I haven't written any calypsos. His brother actually met me one time and asked me if I have ever written calypsos, and I said, no, I've written hymns, not calypsos. Maybe one of these days. And I told Shaylin Linger that he will not win the crown unless I write a calypso for him. So I just want to put that in there. But all in all, we are very thankful for what he has done for us, what he has been able to share. And we pray always that his legacy and the legacy of those who have gone before us from the Calypso arena will not be lost. I've been an advocate for the arts to become a big part of our educational plan. And I know certainly in my own time, in my own exposure to Calypso, I was trained as a judge. The end of the day is for Calypso to be taught and Calypso writing to be taught in schools. But that's another discussion for another time, and I won't bore you other than to ask you now to bend the knee of your heart as we invoke God's presence on all that we're about to undertake. Let us pray. Heavenly Father and our God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for the grace, the love, the compassion, the various skills and talents with which you have blessed us. And we thank you for our brother, his ministry, his service, his contributions to national, regional, international developments. Very especially, his challenge to our nation, to our people, to be committed, to think of country above self, to be able to ensure that we play our part in nation building. We're thankful for not only his service, but what he's been able to offer through inspiration, through guidance, and through the wisdom that he has imparted. We pray that as he goes into retirement, his legacy and his history will not be lost, but that he'll be able to impart, and others who come after may be able to document and to write that history so that the generations yet to come may learn of those who have gone before us who have made sterling and meaningful contributions, such as our brother. We commend this evening's proceedings into your hand. We pray that everything that is done may be done in decency and in order, and will bring honor and glory, praise to your name as we continue to live in community, one with the other, celebrating this place we call home. Continue to be with your servant. Bless him, strengthen him, touch him in renewed and refreshing ways. And each moment and each day, from the crown of his head to the sole of his feet, we pray that you'd anoint him with the dew and the presence of your Holy Spirit, so that at all times and in all places he will proclaim Hitherto has God been my help, and have come this far by faith, leaning and trusting in God's goodness. We commend everything into your hand, and we make our prayer through your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Together we say,
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I get to keep one?
Yes, you can go with it. You're going to sing, right? Yes. Before I introduce the chairman, let me give you a little rundown of why you're here. An initiative by Brother Lee. Y'all know him? Don't sound so. An initiative by Brother Lee in thinking that Dr. Splinter has reached retirement age, not from his work, not from his job, not from his people, but from Calypso. And it's not too often that you hear a Calypsonian retired. So I was with him from Krong 1 to Krong 24. And we had a lot to do within that period of time. We're going to leave that for down to the bottom because, we have a program we have to eat. So we want to leave that for the last part. But however, that initiative came and I ran with it. It's like Dr. Splinter would have said, when you fall and you get back, it's not a setback, but it's a setup to a comeback. You agree with that? Thank you. So I realized he won a crown on his retirement, 2024, achieved a little something in his pocket, and what a kind jang. But the pocket probably had holes. However, the Shang Gang, I hope I call it correct, the Shang Dang, oh shucks, the gang of a Shang, it cannot go in his home. It will always be outside of his home. What does that say to you? It says that the best of you will be always with you. So I have decided he has many fans. And let me just reach out to those fans, some of them who I know, and share that inspiration that I had to give him an award so he can place this award wherever it is in his home. And every time he passes, he'll see it. Every time he lies, he'll see it. And that would mean more to him than what? Shang Gang? Oh, yeah. What is it?
Shang Gang.
Shang Gang. A little child shall lead him. And here's it. Today, I'm not giving the vote of thanks, but I want to thank all those persons who took that initiative to heart. Give yourselves a round of applause because that is why we're here. Thank you so much. So we're going to turn it over now to the chairman, Yusuf Ali. Some of them call him Muslim, but he's Anglican. Thank you, Mr. Ali. Welcome him.
Good night. Thank you, and thank you, Brother Lee. I would like to start off to acknowledge the presence of the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Cora Richardson Hodge, and I would like to acknowledge the entire party that's acquainted with her, the AUF, and I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Shelia Rogers, as well as the others in her group as well. Tonight, I'm sorry about that. Tonight, we're going to go through tonight hoping that we would be able to be this family that we expected to be. No. Sorry. Hold on. All right. Good night, everyone. I'm starting over. Sorry about that. Tonight, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our government, which is here with us tonight. We have the Honorable Cardigan Connor. The Honorable Cardigan. I can't even see. I'm sorry, Brother Lee. All right. I would like to acknowledge Deanna and... Sorry, Brother Lee, I'll freeze it. I'll freeze it. I'm sorry about this, guys. What I wanted to say is that tonight I'm feeling that as if we're one big family. I didn't really want to highlight anyone specifically because I'm looking at it that we all are here together as one big family. And the reason why we're here really is to show the gratitude that we've had for Splinter, and not just Splinter, but also persons within the Calypso arena in Anguilla. It was Brother Lee who really introduced me to Calypso. I really never was a fan of Calypso. I knew Dr. Splinter only in the chicken business. I never knew him as a Calypsonian. I knew him as a farmer and very dedicated person to his field in agriculture. But of recent, I've been getting much more acquainted with the whole realm of Calypso, and I've realized what a legend he is. And the fact that we have so many persons able to come together tonight in order to give him a good retirement goes to show how much of an impact he has had on our community and our culture as a whole. So for tonight, I would like to go through and acknowledge those persons who will be presenting to him tonight. And the first on the list, we have Mr. Rodney Ray. Mr. Rodney Ray, he has been exceptional he has been profound in my upbringing since a very young age. He has shaped a lot of who I am today. And I believe that he would be able to give us some good history and good historical perspective of who Dr. Splinter is. Good night. Could you please welcome him?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my long-lost friend, Yusuf Ali. I'm not going to get in trouble as he did in attempting to call any names, but simply to say adopt the protocol that has been established. But I wish to big up the man of the hour, my past student and good friend, Dr. Splinter, known to me originally as Anthony Bryan. I've been asked to speak briefly on the topic, my encounter with Dr. Splinter. So I'll try to be brief in the interest of time, and some people need to eat early before 9 so that the food can digest before they go to bed. Isn't that an instruction we get from the nutritionist? So, my first encounter with Dr. Splinter was long before he was known as Dr. Splinter. It was as a student at the Valley Secondary School way back in the late 1970s. Dr. Splinter impressed me as a very intelligent, disciplined, hardworking, and self-motivated young man. You would agree with me that he still possesses those qualities today. I was his geography and biology teacher at the time. And I want to relate a story that happened that will never leave me. It was during June, and students were writing their GCE examinations in the community center, a building formerly known as the community center. In those days, teachers were able to go to the examination room and look at the paper. You can't do that now with CXC. We were writing GCE from London. So I went down to the examination room to have a look at the paper. And Candice Lewis, now Candice Niles, whispered to me, "Splinter." I don't think he was Splinter then either. He was Tony. He said, "Tony did not come." I said, "What?" So I went back to the school, jumped in my second-hand yellow Datsun 120Y and raced to Carl's Bottom. The road wasn't even paved in those days. I started blowing my horn from the time I turned the corner, Reuben Hodge Road, and I raced to Splinter's house. I didn't stop blowing the horn, I believe. Splinter came out staggering. He said, "Mr. Ray, I stayed up all night and I don't feel like going to the exam." I said, "No way, you are going to the exam. Go and wash your face and you're going with me." In those days, nobody could tell me no. I don't know. I tell people, I used to be Mr. Ray, now I'm nobody. Those things happen. But Splinter obeyed me and he came out and we drove back to the examination room. And the rest is history. Splinter scored a distinction in biology. And I believe that is why he may have included doctor in his Calypso name. Yes. What, geography? Richardson? Possibly. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we became good friends after that, and he honored me when he sang at the naming ceremony for the Rodney MacArthur Auditorium in Campus B. And he sang that legend, that legendary calypso called "Honor Your Greats." I don't think I'm great. He is great. And that's why tonight we are honoring him. Is that so? My next encounter with him was in his early years as a Calypsonian, when he won twice, 3 times, when he became great. I was an amateur lyricist for Dr. Splinter. He would come to me early in the carnival season and say, "Mr. Ray, I have this theme, I have this idea. Can you develop it for me?" I would scribble some ideas down on paper, and we would get together and polish it up, and he would sing the lyrics we worked on together. You'd recall those years when he sang those political or social commentaries. I had a little hand in that at the time, so I take some credit for that. So Dr. Splinter went on to become a legend in his own right, and we are extremely proud of his contribution to Calypso and to the art form in Anguilla and the sub-region. He has won the Leeward Islands Calypso competition. He's about to retire. I'm going to say to him, don't retire and rust out. You still have some work to do. We'll want to see you appearing as a guest artist on shows occasionally. And then, based on my experience during the carnival this year, we have a good bunch of young Calypsonians coming up and they need help. So I'm going to ask you, Dr. Splinter, to use some of your talent and skills and experience to assist the next generation of Calypsonians. So we want to thank you for joy and the happy memories you have left with us. I want to relate a story of one of your ardent fans, Stopper, my good friend Stopper. I think Stopper has memorized most of your calypsos. And he says to me, or he said to me that during Carnival, whatever he's doing, he has to get to the Carnival Village before Splinter goes on stage. Such is the kind of joy you have brought to your fans and the respect they have for you. So we are happy that you have reached this stage and you have made a decision not to compete anymore, but as I said, we would hope that you would continue to make some impact, particularly with the young Calypsonians. Happy retirement, Dr. Splinter.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. While I was studying in Trinidad, I was exposed to Calypso in Trinidad, which down there they call it Calypso. And I know that Calypso has a lot of impact on the society, and it changes the society. So up here in Anguilla, I figured, is it impactful up here as well? And I remember trying to find out how does Calypso impact our culture here and change the society? And it was hotshot. It was Steve Hodge who told me that Calypso is social commentary. So tonight I will have Steve Hotshot Hodge come and let us to know how he first met Splinter.
Good evening, good night. With protocol already established, I haven't prepared any notes at all. I intend to speak from the heart. And when my good friend Brother Lee told me he wanted me to speak a little about Calypsonians City Club, I was like, yeah, something that I could easily speak about, because actually every time I go to release a Calypso, my good friend, Brother Lee, and I, we sometimes go back and we recall the history. And of course, when you speak about Calypsonians City Club, you can't speak about that without speaking of the great Dr. Splinter. That's actually where I first met Splinter, got to know of Splinter. So let me speak a little about Calypsonians City Club and then about Splinter. I would have started as a youngster, of course, back in 1984. That's how long ago Calypsonians City Club started. And it's kind of fitting that we are actually having this ceremony right here tonight, because Calypsonians City Club, the ground for our performance was right across there by Smithy's. Most of you would, I'm sure, would recall those days, because we have a lot of Calypso fans and lovers in here. So that's where it really started for us. And as a youngster, of course, learning the craft, you would have, had to hold your corner and look at what we used to call the big boys at those days. And that was where I got to know of the Dr. Splinter. Certainly, as a youngster, you would have looked on and, you hold your corner. But then as time go on, eventually we got friends, and what a guy. Was so glad to know Splinter, because he was one who was always there, willing to hold our hand and, show us the craft. And even me as a youngster today, have had my years of Calypso, and I can very much attribute that to one like Splinter, who was always willing to share with us and help to nurture us as the youngsters, coming up. So I can certainly say, through Colonial City Club, Splinter have certainly done his bit in nurturing, Calypso through the years. So it wasn't only about him winning, and we know he have a fantastic record of that, but it was also ensuring that this art farm continues to grow throughout the island. Yes, we see even across some of the islands from Trinidad up Calypso sometime look, and many songs have said Calypso is dying, but yet here in Anguilla, Calypso remains strong. We're the holders of the Leeward Island, Calypso, and we see when those guys come here, our Calypso is like way above, And I think it's only because of the likes of people like Splinter. So certainly, as we think of Colonial City Club, I have to just recall some of the names, and I can't recall all, but of course, Brother Lee would have been a founder. I remember people like D-Man, Brother Lee, Splinter, you guys could help me recall the names, but all what we call the old guys, the repeaters, and I see my good friend Pontiques. Oh, he was one always. Even today, Pontiques continue to be the life of the party, when we go out and we perform, So that's how it used to be. I see my good friend Taneda, he's right here in the crowd. He was one, a youngster like myself, coming up, and it's all thanks to Splinter. So I'm glad, and I'm very much happy to this night. I thought I would put a few little words. I'm a Calypsonian, so why not in song? I thought the best way I could honor Splinter tonight was to put a few words in Calypso. So bear with me as I go through this. I call this one, by the way, doctor, are you retired? Because I need to update the lyrics here. You're retired, or are you about to retire? I can't hear that.
I'm retired until one of you guys say something out of place and I have to come back.
That's the man. That's the man I know. So as I go out, let me just do this one as a tribute to the great one. It's called "Give Me the Formula." Just let me clear my throat here a minute. Give me the formula, Dr. Splinter. Give me your formula before you retire. With 10 crowns and more, you are the greatest for sure. Like the mighty Choctaws and the great King Sparrow. The fans really love you, and I respect you too. But for Calypso to live on, it's time to pass the baton. So give me the formula, Dr. Splinter, your secret formula, and your name will always remember.
All right. Thank you, Hotshot. Unfortunately, we have the repeater who was not able.
It's not unfortunately, it's actually, I spoke with Honorable Deanne Kentish Rogers when she came in, and she was just from another engagement. So I said it would not be open remarks, it would be remarks based on her ministry, because her ministry is dealing with culture. Welcome, Honorable Deanne Kentish Rogers.
Good night, everyone. I'd like to recognize everyone who is here with us this evening. We can drop all protocols, right? Amen. To our living legend, I was going to say doctor, but I have to put King before it. King Dr. Splinter, it gives me great pleasure to be here with you this evening with your family, your friends, your fans, to officially salute you and celebrate your retirement. But I guess it's not an official retirement because you said you're one challenge away from coming back to the mic. You're stepping out, yes. Once they step out of bounds, okay. So they know where to step now. I don't know what words would really do justice to an incredible storyteller, someone who is a master melody maker and a triumphant survivor, someone whose career is 15 years older than me, actually. Your songs have undoubtedly been the backdrop to many people's lives. I was speaking to someone just today about Dr. Splinter, and they said they were on stage with you for New Jersey Rocker. She rock, she rock, she rock. And she said that when she was on stage with you, she was a different person. And that's the transformative power of art and music. Your gift hasn't only been an energy, an energizer, a motivator, but also offered comfort in solitude. You've offered words to express emotions that we may not have been able to do ourselves. You've painted vivid pictures of life, of love, of struggle, and of triumph. And that was most evident in your most recent Double Crown win during the 50th celebration of the Anguilla Summer Festival, where you blessed us with what I call a new cultural anthem. One that is both authentic and resonates with truth. While we could reflect, and of course there have been many people who've gone before me and who will follow after, who will reflect on your remarkable contributions, the power of your most recent work cannot be overstated. While the lights may dim on the proverbial stage, your music will continue to shine on brighter than ever, Dr. Splinter. But even if you're not on the stage, we want you to allow us to continue to honor you as your picture, frame, and name are hung within the halls of the new Lansingbourg Cultural Center. Your songs, of course, will continue to inspire many Calypsonians and musicians for years to come and serve as soundtracks for new memories of life and remind us of the powerful and profound potential of art. As you step into this new phase, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Ministry of Social Development, Youth, Culture, and Education, and the Government of Anguilla to thank you for sharing your gift with the world. And for those of us who will miss seeing you on the stage and who will have to relive those memories day in and day out, and who are yet to discover this extraordinary man, I want to leave you with these profound words. We may plan, hope, and fantasize what we want to achieve and actualize. In this world of adversity and strife, we must try our best to cope, a believer in resilience and hope. Thank you very much, Dr. Splinter.
All right. Thank you, the Honorable Deanne Kentish Rogers. Next, we have Keith Repeater Carty. However, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it over from St. Martin. But as we are in a technological state, we have a voice note for him that he will play. Okay. Okay, just give him 1 minute, less than a minute. Sorry, trying to find it. Move on. Brother Lee. Brother Lee. Okay.
Yes, what happens is that we'll go on and get back to that. So, go on.
Okay, so moving on, we have the mighty Linga. He'll give a tribute to the Dr. Splinter. And just to let you know, I'm not seeing the Jerry Dice Richardson, so we have moved on to Mighty Linga, and we'll get back to the repeater as we resolve the technical issues.
Good night, everybody. Bear with me a little bit. He's a very amazing singer, so his key is a little up there, and my voice is getting deeper, so I'm going to try my best.
So you're curious to know the reason why we gather and celebrate. Why we here around this time? We whine, jump and gyrate. We have a lot of behavior. Describe it as something strange. I'll do my best and try to explain. If you never heard the truth before, there is your chance to know all about the changes of name, separation, degradation. We develop communication using the drums, celebrations in rhythm. That's why it's called a carnival in this side, celebrating freedom throughout the Caribbean. In my land, you'll find love, you'll find peace, a people we are proud of. In my land, you're welcome to our shores. Our hearts and hands open like open doors. You'll find sandy beaches, palms waving in the breeze. Run with the wind, let your minds be at ease. Come join us as we celebrate 50 years of mass and spree. What a glorious time to see. It's our golden jubilee.
Linga, encore. Encore. Where are you? Encore, Linga. Start him up.
Okay.
Encore.
Yeah.
So you're curious to know the reason why we gather and celebrate. Why every year around this time we wind, jump and gyrate. Your behavior, describe it as something strange. Well, I'll do my best to try and explain. So if you've never heard the truth before, there is your chance to know all about the change. Changes of names, separation, negation. We develop communication using the drum, sending each other messages with rhythm. That is why it's tolerant, non-involving, silent, and celebrating freedom through all the Caribbean. In my land, you'll find love, you'll find peace, our people we are proud of. In my land, you're welcome to our shores, our hearts and hands open like open doors. You'll find sand beaches, palms blooming in the breeze. Run with the wind, let your minds be at ease. Come join us as we celebrate 50 years of mass and spree. What a glorious time to be. It's our golden jubilee.
It is about emancipation, our freedom from slavery. So appreciation for all who died so that we can be free. Similar to World War veterans who assemble and pay tribute of those who fought against the land and their blues. So if you've never heard the truth before, here is your chance to know about the cotton field. So hands and bloody knees, whips and scars, rebellion and wars. They were whipped them down to the slum, deprived of every basic human right. That is why we highly anticipate to parade in the streets
together and celebrate. In my land,
you'll find splendor, you'll find parade of troops.
She's filled with color. In my land,
it's buffet and pageantry. For carnival, Juve morning is primary. The biggest Caribbean beach festival to
fill your soul.
A week of activities
at Lansombo. Come join us as we celebrate
50 years of mass and spree.
What a glorious fantasy. It's our golden jubilee.
This one too. Listen here. I want you to stop making me emotional. Every time you're performing, I get emotional. I bring a kerchief there for me, please. We got the master ceremonies here, but however, what we're going to do, we're going to bring on Mr. Carty. And after Mr. Carty, we're going to go and eat. And we're going to go to the rest of the program. So we want to get you energized. Mr. Carty, come forward. This is Mr. Culture himself.
Good evening. I don't know if I could follow that act. This is trouble. And you all must be hungry. So they asked me to do a keynote speech. Well, that ain't happening. Because a keynote speech usually is long, boring, intellectual stuff that puts everybody to sleep. So I ain't in that tonight. Cut it short and sweet. But I'm here, I'm honored to have been asked to celebrate Dr. the Right Honorable Splinter, PhD. I am also a culture bearer, but I only have a bachelor's. He has a PhD. So I can't have to stand in his shadow. And I'm also honored because on one occasion, I was drafted by Dr. Splinter to do some writing, and thank God he won that year. If he didn't win, I'd feel real bad. But tonight, I want to share a few thoughts about the art of Calypso and the work that Dr. Splinter has done, and try to make this as sensible as possible in a short period of time. So let's start with some lyrics. I share this lyric with you that I bet you nobody knows. Alban and Piraka went one night up Captain Lake coconut tree. They went this night without a light, thought nobody could see. The coconuts dropped down, bap, 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 but it's Minnie who make them stop. Minnie let go a shout and a big ball out. Woman, shut up your goddamn mouth. That Calypso, chorus for that Calypso, was sung in 1940 by a Calypsonian from Sandy Ground called Wally Hughes, who sang it on one of the first boat races we ever had. And he sang it as a reflection of what was happening in the village. You notice I said Captain Lake coconut tree? What the Calypso was about was fellas stealing coconuts. And Minnie, a woman, who was to work for Captain Lake, catch them. And all they're doing is whispering from up in the coconut tree, shut up your damn mouth. But Calypso from then until now reflects society. So I want to stay in the past just a little more to show you how this thing evolves and how Dr. Splinter is the descendant of greats, and he will be the ancestor, I hope, of great ones to come. So the same Captain Lake was a master mariner who had 3 schooners, all in Sandy Ground. But he was married to a lady who was not easy. And she was called, in the village, Miss Buddy. Nobody liked Miss Buddy. Couldn't stand her. Even poor old Captain Lake at times had to leave his home, take a little boat and row out to his schooner to catch a night's rest. Now he used to live, to give you context, right where the police station is in Sandy Ground today, just opposite Jono's. So this story is that Captain Lake had to go to St. Kitts, and he left his wife in St. Kitts, and he had to go back for her, and he picked her up on the schooner, and he was coming back to St. Kitts, to Anguilla. Now, if you go on Back Street today, and if you go up, or to La View and you go up for a drink, if you look out across the ocean to Sandy Island, you will look west of Sandy Island, you'll see a shoal. You will see the sea breaking. And it breaks over a place we call Dowling Shoal. It used to be an island, but now it's gone back into a shoal. A shoal is just a shallow, 2 feet deep. So it was a danger for sailors. Anyhow, the schooner was coming back from St. Kitts, and Miss Buddy got seasick. So she was down in the cabin, and although she was seasick, she called Captain Lake and said, hey, come, you gotta fan me. So Captain Lake was down. This senior seaman, brilliant sailor, had to be down in the cabin with some kind of exercise book or whatever, fanning Miss Buddy. Captain Lake was nicknamed Captain Lanny. That was his Orlando Lanny. So now the schooner comes around Little Anguilla, comes up on the ways, Mates Bay, Malihana, and is tacking up towards Crocus Bay. And the mate, the second in command, is steering the schooner. And he ain't know what he doing. He drove the schooner straight onto Showling Shoal. Boom, up against the sand. All right? So the schooner is hard aground. In all of this, Miss Buddy still has Captain Lanny down below, fanning out. So the cook comes out of the galley, walks down in fury to the back of the vessel, cuss up the mate, slap him off, and tell him, get the heck off the wheel, gave the crew member some orders. This is the cook, you know, not the mate, not a real sailor. And the sailors got the boat back off the schooner was safe, got back into sandy ground, and all was safe. Within 2 days, Wally Hughes had a chorus out, a new calypso out, and the chorus was, the mate put her on and the cook took her off. Fan me, Lanny, fan me. Calypso reflects us at any stage in our history. In that Anguilla, in 1940s, it was a very simple society. A simple society, subsistence, emigration, smuggling, building schooners, sailing. Now we have a much more sophisticated society, but the Calypsonians' role is still there. So in trying to unravel what we are trying to do here tonight, we have to start with culture, because Brother Lee gave me this awful title, What is the Legacy of a Culture Bearer? Now, I hate the term culture bearer, but trust Brother Lee to give me hard work tonight. But anyway, that's Brother Lee. So anyway, so culture is a collection of beliefs and behaviors, objects shared by a group of people. Right now, it can get a lot more technical than that, but for tonight, let's leave it at that. So it's collection of behaviors and beliefs. That's who we are. So a culture bearer now is a person deeply rooted in the layers of their heritage to the degree that they are confident in the transmitting of eligible parts of their culture to others. And culture bearers in particular are artists and individuals who practice and carry forward cultural art forms, beliefs, and traditions. So hey, all of us make culture. Every one of us. Institutions in Anguilla, institutions from government, from the church, to private organizations, to businesses, to schools, to whatever. We all make culture. We all are the creators. But the artist is the one who reflects that culture and passes it on in an eligible way for us to enjoy and appreciate. So Dr. Splinter, in his time, not like Wally, carried on the foundational elements of a Calypsonian, which, as the great Lord Pretender, going way back now from Trinidad, used to say, the Calypsonians were the mouthpiece, the chronicle, always defending the rights of poor people. They used to sing the things that people should know. We didn't have no records or radio. You have to prove yourself singing calypso. That was then, this is now. We are in a different time and a different era when things are far more difficult for the Calypsonian to compete with because of technology. But what we have to recognize and what we have to do as a society is to, as you just did just now, in appreciation for that wonderful song, that Calypso that Splinter did, you hold on to who you are, your sense of identity as a people, which is reflected in your culture. You have to do that. So, I had to dig up one of Splinter's calypsos, and I want to just use his own words to demonstrate the point I just made. In his calypso, Success, he says this: what is your interpretation of success and prosperity? That is one of the questions that was asked of me recently. How do you define successful people in any community? When you look in the mirror of life, what reflection do you see? Are you impressed by the power and wealth of the so-called VIPs? How do you compare with a humble farmer in the burning sun on his knees? Should man's wealth be measured in dollars or by the consequences of his deeds? Is it better to buy what you want, or should you try to find the things that you need? I must admit I wasn't prepared for this. This is his chorus. So I answered quite candidly, remembering what my mama told me: be trustworthy and compassionate, be courageous and confident, learn to forgive and forget, have respect for your elders, get along with your neighbors. This is my formula for your success here in Anguilla, or wherever you may go. Success will be yours now and forevermore. Now, what Splinter was doing was reflecting a foundational part of our heritage, which is traced and based on the Christian religion, and reminding us of why we have to care, forgive, forget, and move on in the context of that teaching. What his mama told her, what she may have learned from her forebears. It is a continuous passing of the baton from generation to generation with an ideal to hold onto what is sacred that makes your identity special. And that is the challenge now that he is retired, for us to move on. So I want to end with a little bit of a warning. And it is a bit dark, but I think it needs to be shared. I read early this morning at around 4:30 a post that was circulated from a respected lecturer at Harvard University, speaking about the recent election in the United States. And he says this in part: America culturally has completely abandoned a politics of decency and respect, and has embraced instead a politics of resentment, revenge, false nostalgia, and bullying. Any culture that has descended to this level of debasement is not easily fixed. The timeline for changing something like this is decades. That, for me, didn't speak to him and his society, it speaks to us. We have a responsibility in Anguilla, especially now, where we now have to face young men, social media, gun violence, and all those aspects of our culture, because that is who we are today. We have to face that reality and find ways to hold strain to those things that are valuable, important, and who make us the Anguillians we all want to be. And that is the role of the culture bearer, to turn that reality into art and to express that art in a way that uplifts you. And Splinter did that tonight, not just in the recommendations or the congratulations of others, but in the song. You all jump up. You all start to whine. you all started to enjoy the Kaiso, but you also viscerally enjoyed it because it spoke to your heart about Anguilla. That is what a culture bearer must do, and that is why he is the Honorable PhD Doctor of Calypso, and I am only a bachelor.
Thank you.
But I want to end by challenging Brother Lee now. No, I think it was Splinter. Splinter himself, when he came to have a nice chat with me and his son. He said, we're thinking of forming a little club. Fellas to write and train young fellas. And I see a brilliant young Calypsonian here tonight. Yeah.
Yep.
That fella got
Yep.
it. He got it, right? And this is what it's all about. People like him can't really retire. They got to maybe go in with Brother Lee and others. I'd love to be a part of that club. And start to write in ways that young Calypsonians can take the baton and pass on. This is a work in progress. Congrats to Brother Lee, to Dr. Splinter, again. And thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing, and I hope you get your food soon.
Thank you, Mr. Cardi. I'm going to take it from here to the end. And I just want to let you know that we're going to segment this. Like this. Okay. We're going to segment it. And what we're going to do, it's back. We're going to have you quietly come up, have your meal, and while we keep on presenting. So please be quiet and listen to the presenter. Before we go there, I have a message here, Dr. Splinter, from one of your buddies, and that is Marvin Gums. A hand for Marvin Gums, who is a prolific writer for a lot of the juniors, and he was one who worked with Splinter in the beginning as well. Congratulations to you, King Splinter. It has been a phenomenal journey from 1978. Was that much? From 1978 to 2024. I am proud to have shared history with you in 1977 when I wrote your very first song, A Message to the Master. You want to sing it now? A Message to the Master. Coincidentally, that was the very first calypso that I had ever written. We went on to work together for many years. You hold the prestigious honor of being called Dr. Splinter, and tonight you have moved up to King Dr. Splinter. Thanks, Doc, for your unparalleled contribution to Calypso. May God continue to bless you in all future endeavors. Again, congratulations, Dr. Splinter. This is from Marvin Gums. So, I want to start off with the back table. We're going to quietly go up and get your meal. Huh? Oh, Dr. Splinter don't eat like that, you know. You should know that. Dr. Splinter don't eat like that. He's a vegan. So, Canon Reed Simon, come. Oh, you want to say something first? Okay, you want to bless the food again. So you got a double blessing.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the meal which has been provided for use. Bless it, O use and ourselves to your service. We're thankful for those who have provided it, those who shall be serving it. And as we partake of it, may we always be mindful and responsive to the needs of others, very especially those who are less fortunate than we are. And may we never fail to give you thanks for your divine providence and your blessings upon us. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
This table in the back, come quietly. While we do that, can I borrow? While we do that, we're going to have the background singers. This is the best time to do it. The background singers, you find it, DJ? The background singers. We have the background singers to pay tribute to Dr. Splinter. This is going to surprise him. Background singers, Splinter background singers are the backups. Yes. Everyone has a mic, Gwen?
Yeah.
Good night. We're going to try and do a medley consisting of some of the songs that Splinter did. I started with him when I was 25 years old. And I'm in my 50s now. And one of the first songs we did was back in 1996. I was pregnant. And it was Honor Your Greats and Success. 1996, he did Angola Must Rise Again. 1997, Angola Must Rise Again and Rejoice. And then we're going to do, so we're going to do Honor Your Greats, Destruction of Paradise, Success, and Rejoice. I hope y'all enjoy them. And oh, Splinter just said Angola Must Rise Again was written by Mr. Carty.
As the doctor of national calypso in our history, I'd like to know why for years and years it should be the greats of this land most don't even know. You told us about Columbus, Hawkins, and Sir Francis Drake, and about the French invasion that had proven a big mistake, while there are angry lions, heroes of the revolution, who put their lives up for this country, no recognition. I ask the question, what are we doing in appreciation for those who've done well in sports, culture, and education? For their commitment and contributions, I anticipate it is time we seriously get up and honor our greats. Let us now look at the hospital after the visit of Royal Princess. A symbol and her name was written, then soon after she left. While we have so many greats to honor, and you do nothing to show your interest. A name like Wallace Way for us, I would have suggest. Even Warwick, he was just an estate owner. We could honor Clayton Lloyd, he was the first pilot of Anguilla. So many of our greats are gone without identity. I think it is time we honor our greats of this country. So true.
Around me, searching for tranquility. Surprisingly, what was discovered? There is no bliss in reality. All our hopes of a new horizon and our dreams and aspirations are overshadowed by dust of deterioration and the winds of self-destruction. Destruction. Everyone with their own little view of the national situation. Who is for and who is against the progress and progress? But when I hear how my people cry, every day, and that's why really now I don't have another choice, standing like a beacon as the people's voice. Cause when I sit and reminisce how things used to be so nice, everybody can care less. Destroy our paradise. Those in authority are failing to lead by example, while criminals of all sorts creating so much trouble. Flip-flopping over an airport, governmental law drag them into court, and after all these years, it still can't be solved. While allegations from the president, because they're homeless, they boasting how things are nice, yet they're destroying our paradise.
What is your interpretation of success and prosperity? That is one of the questions that was asked of me recently. How you define successful people of any community? When you look in the mirror of life, what reflection do you see? Are you impressed by the power and wealth of the so-called VIP? How you to compare them to the humble farmer in the burning sun on his knees? Should man's wealth be measured in dollars or by the consequences of his deeds? Is it better to buy what you want, or should you try to find the things that you need? I must admit, I wasn't prepared for this. So I answered quite candidly, remembering what my mama told me. Be trustworthy and compassionate. Be courageous and confident. Learn to forgive and forget. Have respect for your elders. Get along with your neighbors. This is my formula for your success here in Anguilla. Oh, wherever you may go, success will be yours now and evermore.
Everyone, lend an ear to me for a while. And let me give you some reasons why we shouldn't cry. We've got so much that we can sing and shout about. Let's give thanks and praise. We've got no hungry mouths. 'Cause in this world today, with so much people die, can't find no food. Their barren land is dry. Some cannot vote, some do not understand. There is a world beside their own homeland. Babies born every day amid war and gunfire. Nowhere to sleep, no food to eat, and no shoes for their feet. So sing with me, rejoice, and take your brother's hand. Rejoice! May God bless this land. Rejoice! It's so nice to be free. Rejoice! And living in harmony. Have you ever thought what it would be like if we had to live? And all we ever knew was pain, disaster, and grief. Disease, discrimination, and hunger, war. And just because of color, yes, you are doomed to suffer forever. That's why I say we got a lot to be thankful for. So let's rejoice and sing. Raise your voices. Rejoice. 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 Raise your voices.
One, two.
We say that we want to be served quietly. So, can you be a little quiet because we're going to continue presenting? So we like a little bit of quietness, please. As we continue, we want to bring the Calypso chairman, Mr. Courtney Morton, to make a tribute to Dr. Splinter. Give it up for Mr. Courtney Morton.
Thank you, Brother Lee. I would like to say good night to everyone here this evening. Before I start, I recognize that there's a few Calypsonians in the crowd. If you wish to join me here tonight, that'll be a symbolic gesture to show our brother Dr. Splinter of your appreciation of his time in the Calypso art form. So please, all past Calypsonians, could you please come to the stage, or to the podium rather. After 50 years of carnival, I think you could just rest the plate down for a few seconds and show your appreciation to greatness. Please. Hot shot. Sunbeam. Singing Angie, please. Plastic. Sorry, singing Jenny. Singing Jenny. You competed against Dr. Splinter. Could you please come to the stage? Get singing. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Recognizing the honoree tonight, Dr. Splinter. Splinter, standing before you tonight are some people that you whip and some people that whip you. So it goes both ways. But tonight is truly an honor for me to say a few words on behalf of myself and also the Calypso fraternity. We recognize you as an icon in this Calypso arena. While places like Antigua and Barbuda will celebrate King Short Shirt and Swallow, Trinidad will celebrate Sparrow and Kitchener in Anguilla without taking anything away from these ladies and gentlemen in front of you here in Anguilla. We have to celebrate you as that person. And as the young people may put it, GOAT, the greatest of all times. In the past 50 years of Carnival, we have produced some 25 Calypsonians, 25 Calypso Kings. The Mighty Slinger, Paul Pharaoh, Secret, Returner, Dynamite, Cornflakes, Hot Shot, Cream Bee, Roxy, Kinger, Sunbeam, and yourself, to name a few. Mighty Rock, just to name a few, but you stand out on top with 10 Calypso titles. 1982 to 1986, 5-time Calypso crowns in a row. (1996) and 1997, 2003. And 2024. But besides winning the local Monarch show, you went on to win many Leeward Islands crowns and other accolades. And for that, we are all proud. The Mighty Splinter always displayed a certain seriousness when he's on stage. But it's merely to show that you must continue to build on that art form as it relates to Calypso and take it to higher heights, as there's always room for improvement. It was in the year 2011 when I had a real encounter of the caliber of Dr. Splinter. I can't recall the song, but he came back from a long stint. I think it was 4 or 5 years away from Calypso, and he came back. And in the quarterfinals, he bust in the fourth verse. That night I was called aside by a friend of mine who was a lawyer. He said, Courtney, get Splinter in the finals. I said, I can't do that. It's up to the judges. He pulled me aside. He said, look at the village. It's crowded. You never see a crowd like this in the village unless Dr. Splinter is performing. Lo and behold, that night from the quarterfinals, he came in at number 15. Of course, because I was the Calypso chair at the time, there was a lot of noise. How did he make it through after he bust in the fourth verse? So I had a brief discussion with the judges, and of course the head judge, which was a gentleman out of Antigua, and he said a Calypso song is 3 verses. The rest is just fart and mobby. So after the first 3 verses, he already judged Splinter and take him through to the quarterfinals. Of course, from the quarters, he went in to the semis at number 8. And of course, the rest was history. On the night of the Monarch show, he won the crown. It shows the strength, the perseverance, and the stamina of a true Calypsonians. And it's something that a lot of us here at the front stage could take away. Tonight truly emphasizes the phrase, and I quote, "Give our heroes and our legends their flowers while they're still alive." In 2021, I wrote a piece on Dr. Splinter, and I submitted to the Angular Day Award Committee. And he went on to receive and get recognized for his contributions to the art form in 2021. Dr. Splinter, while you have decided that this is the end of your chapter, one that is well written, but I must caution you that goodbye doesn't mean the end. It doesn't mean forever. It means that we'll see you soon again. Having said that, now is the perfect time to let you know that we'll send out an invitation for you to be the guest artist on the Leeward Calypso show next year. On behalf of the government of Anguilla through the Department of Youth and Culture, Cannibal Committee, the Anguilla Calypso Fraternity, my family and myself, we wish you all the best in your future endeavors and all the best as you go forward to write the next chapter in your life. Good night.
Thank you, Courtney, for that very historic speech. We're going to continue as you eat. We're going to continue with now Mr. Ivan Connor, who is Anguilla Summer Festival 24 chairman. Bring it up for Mr. Ivan Connor Jr. Sorry, Mr. Connor. I just want to know, have you heard the name? Mr. Ivan Connor Jr. A round of applause for him. That's what I mean.
Good night, everybody. So my task this evening is to give an account, so to speak, of what transpired, what I experienced for the Golden Jubilee Anguilla Summer Festival 2024. Now, at the risk of sounding a little biased, I'll share a few stories. When the talk about Calypso started, from before any Calypsonian came out, we were already asked if Dr. Splinter coming out. There was this anticipation for this living legend to hit the stage. Sometime after the summer festival ended and you started to power down, I wrote on my Facebook wall that the feel-good story of the summer was Dr. Splinter. And I still mean that to this day. I'm tingling now when I say it. Because I remember the first, it wasn't the quarterfinals, it was the quarterfinals, yeah, at Aurora. We were backstage and I was like, "You good?" He said, nah, man. And I'm like, really? And he just like kind of give a little smile and walk off. So after now he's going to sing, I left from backstage and I went out and I sat in the front. And I don't know how many persons in here were paying attention because maybe we're all just fans and supporters. But whenever his name was about to call, people just start to walk forward. People will just leave their seats and just start to walk forward like he's the Pied Piper. I couldn't understand it. I look around before Kelsey could announce because they know who coming next. People up in the stand start cheering and walking, coming forward. And I'm like, there's something special about this man. It didn't stop there. And that continued for every time he performed. But I'll give you a little joke because I met him after that. And I said, you were really afraid it was you? He said, nah, you gotta let them think so. So he has some tricks up his sleeve. He has some things that makes him very special. But something that resonated with me, hearing about his journey, hearing about his testimony. Because I told him recently that song, Resilience and Hope, is a gospel song. It's practically scripture. And he said to me, if he didn't take out some of the words and rewrite it, you would have probably believed that it was. And then I started to learn about who he really is. And there was something that I would say often, something that I stand by, something that I live by. And it says in the Bible, every step of a righteous man is ordered by God. And I see this in this man and on his life and on his calling and the walk that he has traveled, the journey that he's made. I was listening just now to Mr. Morton speak, and he said, you won the crown 10 times. And I said, but 10 has some significance. And then I just did a quick Google search because I wanted to be sure, but 10 represents completeness and perfection. So there's no happenstance, there's not by chance that you're going out on top with 10 crowns. All this is part of the journey, all this is part of the story. I reflect again on asking him if he was coming back. 14 in total. Well, I didn't mean the leewards. So, I reflect on a question that I asked him, and I asked if you're coming back. And I guess he'll mention this when he comes to speak. And he said, no. He said he made God a promise. And I said, but there's something really special about this man, something special about this season that we were in and what we experienced, that we are so blessed to experience. And I hope when you speak tonight, you will touch on that part of the conversation. There's so much to talk about goods. Well, I'll come off now because I can't wait to hear more of that story. There were a lot of great things that happened during the Anguilla Summer Festival 2024. There are a lot of things that we wish we could repeat. There are a lot of things that we can work on better for next season, whenever that time is, whoever in that position. But one fact remains that the feel-good story of the summer is Dr. Splinter. He has inspired so many. I think he has shone the light on Anguilla again. I know the Leeward Islands, everybody trying to come harder and harder next year. They probably feel a sigh of relief that he's not going to compete. But when you got the likes of Linger coming up, when you got, I should not do that because a lot of Calypsonians are going to call everybody name. But when you got Vero, when you got Tornado, you come back again? You thinking about it? You're shaking your head, yes or no? So we're going to see. You got, who else by the table? I can't see. You got Ziggy. You got Hot Shot. I ain't calling his name again. But there's so much more to carry on the mantle. And I hope, what he say? I was trying to listen. Well, I hope that, those of us that really honor what he's done, take some time and document his story. And I'll say this here because I asked you about this some time back, but I've asked my adopted dad, Mr. Christopher Richardson, who's an author, to write a book about this gentleman right here. Because we got to tell this story. There's so much sides to this story. There's so much things that people need in this season and in seasons to come about the life and legacy of this man. So I didn't say much about Carnival because it's about him, and I just wanted to be about him. So as you retire, not really retire because I think somebody gonna try to test you. Maybe we can set it up because I don't think nobody want to see you go home. But as you take this next step in your journey, from my heart, I just want to say that I love and appreciate you, and thank you for what you've done for the culture. Thank you for what you've done for Anguilla, and thank you for what you meant to me in this season on a personal level. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a special tribute, singing Resilience and Hope. Resilience and Hope. No. There's another tribute. All right. Yes, we can do that. Yes. So, the cameraman is making sure that he got every inch of my face, so I have to stand here. But I'm going to just take a little walk away. Let me see that microphone there. Little microphone. Just a quick move away there. Yes. Yes, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Somebody to do with the honors here. And I'm looking for them. Melissa. Oh, Melissa. Where's she at? Where's she at? I got her. Okay. Okay. So, we have this special tribute to Dr. Splinter. DJ man, kick it off, please.
Hi, a tribute to Dr. Splinter. Singing Vero for you. Singing your very own Resilience and Hope. Hi. Dr. Splinter. Got it right, Doctor? There is a joy when a child is born, a twin, sometimes four or more. Excitement fills the air. No blueprints, no solid plans of how to get anywhere. Oh, no, no, no. There is no guarantee. Nothing is real clear. Precisely. No. Can anyone really ever be sure of the truth of creation? What is clear from birth and what to do to enjoy life on earth. We may plan, hope, and fantasize all we want to achieve and actualize. In this world of adversity and strife, we must try our best to cope, 'cause I'm a believer in resilience and hope. Sing with me. You may have received a dreadful diagnosis or an unexpected family crisis. Maybe you are going through a broken relationship, are confronted with economic hardship. You may have fallen flat on your back. Life has beaten you and knocked you right off your track. But every setback is a setup for a comeback. Give thanks in all circumstances, and honest all your chances. Giving in to depression cannot better any condition. So strengthen your faith, your belief, resilience and hope. You strengthen your faith and you believed in resilience and hope. I thank you, Dr. Splinter. Oh, yeah. No one is promised a perfect life, free of adversity or pain. What we should avoid or refrain. God will never give us more than what we can bear. What we perceive as failure, He has placed it there. He has planned it all for good, and with faith we should believe. There is no intention to deceive. Tomorrow is never promised to anyone, so don't you cast judgment or scorn. Never too late for a new beginning. You never know what a new day will bring. Each breath we take was borrowed. We must try our best to cope. Be a believer in resilience and hope. You may have received a dreadful diagnosis or an unexpected family crisis. Maybe you are going through a broken relationship, are confronted with economic hardship. You may have fallen flat on your back. Life has beaten you and knocked you right off your track. Hey, but every setback is a setup for a comeback. Give thanks in all circumstances, and honest all your chances. Giving in to depression cannot better any condition. So strengthen your faith, your belief, resilience and hope. Strengthen your faith, your belief, resilience and hope. Thank you, Dr. Smith. I singing barrel for you.
Do I need to ask for another round of applause to this lady? Before we ask Dr. Splinter to come to the podium, a very dear friend of his and mine as well wants to say a few words to Dr. Splinter. During the 2024 Jubilee here in Anguilla, thank you, sir. I had the privilege of Dr. Splinter and this young gentleman going to the studio together. And it reminded me, just like what Hot Chat had said about Colonial City Club. It's like a regroup. Both of them helping one another, ensuring that lines are correct, tone is correct, and getting out of the studio and making sure that whatever has been done in St. Martin will finish in Anguilla. Welcome, Tornado.
Good night to everyone. I just want to say, well, my journey in Calypso started in 1984. At that time, I never really knew of Splinter, but my follow-up years up until 1986, where his brother, Ken, who just passed, had won the Junior Calypso crown in 1986. Following that year, 1987, was my first year of when I won the first Junior Calypso crown, which continued until 1995. And over those years, Splinter, Returner, Ken, and not forgetting Thunder, a house of kings, a house of Calypso kings. Blazer is family, also a king. But yeah, and I just thought it would have been fitting for me as a Calypsonian. This year I did make a comeback. I'll be back for sure. As Splinter said, he's passing the baton on to who? Oh. Anyway, Splinter, I just want to thank you for all your years, all your advice, all your encouragement, and and most of all, thank you for the contribution you made to the art form of Calypso, where we now can all look back and place your memories in our lives. And to all the Calypsonians upcoming linger, you remind me of myself back in the day. Yo. But yeah, just want to say thank you to Splinter, and it was fun working with you and around you this year. And I look forward to many, many more years of our camaraderie just being better and going to a stronger brothership. Thank you.
Thank you, Tornado. I remember Ivan saying something that brought my attention to Aurora. Anyone has their program? See who's coming? Anyone has a program and see who's coming? Anyone has a program and see who's coming? And of course, Ivan mentioned that before the name would have called, people would have gravitated in front. Gravitate in front with a round of applause for Dr. King Splinter.
Thank you, thank you. Good night, everyone. Brother Lee could say what he wants. He know I like to sing. I love to sing, but I don't like to speak. But we're going to get through this. The road that brought me to the end of my Calypso journey. I started singing in 1978 as a junior Calypsonian. Calypsonian Chinix was going around to the schools and trying to recruit some junior Calypsonians. Myself, Repeater, and Returner, my brother, got on board with many others. And tonight, as I was standing by the entrance, I didn't even thought about who was the chairman then. And Mr. Marcel Foy walking and we had a chat. And he told me he was the one responsible for sending around the Calypsonians to recruit juniors. He was the chairman for 3 years, Carnival Committee chairman. Just yesterday, I was sitting down, and I started singing in 1978. But I could remember singing songs like from King Shachut in Antigua, Nasty Raycon, and Star Black the Ranger and Tongue. But I went on YouTube and I tried to look up the years that Shachut sang these songs. Star Black the Ranger and Tongue, I didn't find the year, but I saw with Nasty Raycon, I saw 45. I hope a lot of you here know what was a 45. It was a record, a wax, with one song on it, maybe a different song on the other side. And I think I could barely see it, but it looked like Nasty Raycon was in 1975. But there was one song that I was singing and got me in some real trouble. So I went and I researched that song. It was a song by Sparrow. That song got me in real trouble. And when I researched this song, I found it. It was from an album in 1972, Hotter Than Ever. And I got in trouble for singing that song because I was in St. Thomas in 1972 for the Calypso 10th. And I was only 9 years old. And I was singing this song and didn't even know. I guess at that time I didn't even know what it had mean. You know. Thank God one of my granddaughters is asleep. I hope the father could distract the other one. The song went like this. Tell the man when you see him for me, this kind of thing ain't go work. Because if he don't want to stop, I'm gonna kill the cock. Now the only, I know of a foul cock. I didn't know a male organ at that age of 9 was called such a thing, right? So I got washed out with either a white Watling or Tam and Whip. I got blues. I never sing the song since until yesterday I went and I looked it up. Oh boy. As a junior Calypsonian in 1978, I didn't even make the finals, but I continued and placed throughout the following years. In 1981, I represented juniors in the senior competition and placed first or second runner-up. In 1982, I went on to the senior competition and won the crown from 1982 to 1986 and was dethroned in 1987 by my brother Returner. Brother Lee gave him the better song. He had more style than me too. Huh? People say he was sweeter than me, so, you know. It was never easy finding money to prepare for these shows. But we all had fun. Me, Repeater, and Returner was always together. We had a lot of fun. Walking to George Hill at nights to practice with Kingsley and the Ultradites. After practicing, we would get lucky at times and hop Jimmy Wood's pickup to the valley. And I sure Returner will remember this. Hopping a pickup, you have to run with the pace the pickup moving in. And when you're hopping off, you have to hop off and run with that same pace. But I think Jimmy Woods speed up. Return and repeater was off. Man, and when I jump off, I had to hold on to the pickup so I was being dragged in the street until I find I couldn't let go. We really had fun. We really had fun. The prize money from 1982 to 1986 was 900 EC dollars. Now it's $1 million. Now it's still ain't paying. It was $900. One year, I could remember having a presentation with 3 boats on stage. Now, I got a boat builder to frame these boats for me. I still had to get paper to cover these boats, wheels, 3 wheels for each, and still get sails, get cloth and make sails for these boats. I won the crown. The night after the King and Queen ball, the morning I wake up, the guy that framed the boats was in the yard for $850 out of the 900. Imagine. It wasn't easy. I started out with Brother Lee as a writer and a trainer from 1978 until now. I work with other writers that helped me out throughout the years. Teacher Marvin, guess y'all was already told, Mr. Rodney Ray, Mr. David Carty, and the late Rasby. My biology teacher, Mr. Carvet Richardson, was always with me doing all my paintings for presentation and all my flyers. In 1996, Spracker reached out to me and gave me a song, Success. Now, Spracker had given this song to another Calypsonian. And he said it wasn't good. He didn't sing it. So Spracker gave it to me. The song was on Success. And I did it. I won that year. 1997, he wrote Rejoice. And I won that year again. Now, the amount of songs I have from Spracker, if I was to continue singing, I don't think I'll sing them all. Each year, I would just go and look through the songs and decide which one I want to sing. What is Carnival was written more than 10 years. It was written more than 10 years ago. But Spracker was off island. Myself and Brother Lee used the melody and just rewrite what we had to write and make it fitting for the 50th anniversary. Working with Spracker even made me a greater force to reckon with. And up to this day, if I call Spracker tomorrow, we will do something. He says, Splinter, I know. Yeah, I know next year you're gonna want to sing, you know. You're gonna want to sing. I said, I know. But you see, I listened to Ivan, Deanne. They came up here, right? If y'all want me to retire, bring the retirement check. Where it is, nobody talking about this retirement check. So how are you gonna get me to stop? Man, come on. Working with Lee and Spracker, I learned a lot. Writing and developing the art form. Being trained by these two guys at times, they still look out because I always wanted things done in a particular way. I wanted certain cards, lyrics got to be a certain way. So I would make them rewrite and rewrite. Spracker tell me up to this year. He says, Splinter, he was in the States. He says, Splinter, I know you're disgusting, you know. Okay, all right. So me and Brother Lee continue to work, and we get things going, you know. I would always strive not to be perfect, but to be excellent. Always. Working with Brother Lee, man, sometimes, I don't know. It's really hard. It's really hard. Things we do in Calypso, the phrasing and stuff that we do, I don't hear it. I don't hear it in the Calypsos out there now. I know when we did Falling Apart, I went by Brother Lee, he said, listen, this is your homework tonight. Nashville Bell to Bunton, Hubert? No. Nashville Bell to Bunton, done this. Nashville Bell to Bunton, done this. Okay. I ran it through a couple times, I went to sleep. I get up. Nashville Bell to Bunton have done this. Now Jerome adding to the score. That wasn't Falling Apart. That's the kind of work we do. You know, I learned a lot. He taught me how to count syllables, to shorten a line, or to lengthen a line. You understand? When we was working on What is Carnival, Brother Lee, we had this line, a week of activities at Lansam Bowl. He said, "Bye, we can get a line work." So I write the last three lines, the last three words, thrill your soul, because I know that I'm going to rhyme with Lansam Bowl. Brother Lee got up, I think he went to get a drink of water. I said, Brother Lee, I got a line, you know, but a long from here by me, by you. I said, you think we can get it fit? So I tell him what it was. Brother Lee says, Splinter, it was the biggest Caribbean beach festival to thrill your soul. Brother Lee says, Splinter, just break up the line. Before he could sit down, he said to me, the biggest Caribbean beach festival to thrill your soul. Done. The line long, it fit. But it was done. You know. Linga, listen to you tonight. They're doing your do. But you're going to get here. You will get here. You will get here, brother. The drilling by Brother Lee who put me through at times was not easy. Singing lines over and over 6-10 times. My brother can tell you about this because Franklin, he always sat in with us, gave us advice, gave us ideas, sometimes a topic, and write a couple of lines. This year, I can jump forward now. This year, 2024, we finished practice with the band this Sunday. The show was the Wednesday. I ain't see Brother Lee for a couple of days. The Tuesday night, I hear a car outside blowing. I look outside over Brother Lee. I thought he just coming to say bye, how things going or whatever. I was so tired because somebody screwed up my presentation. So now I was drilling Sandra all day, all night to get his presentation together, and Angie. So I was so tired. I see Brother Lee came out his vehicle. I say, shit, he got a guitar. You know what I mean? Practice. That's the kind of thing we go through. But it's all good. It paid off. Yeah, this year, 2024, while all the Calypsonians was so hyped about a Shangang, I was giving God thanks and praise that I was still around for the 50th anniversary. When I looked at 13, 14 great Calypsonians was deceased, and many others was retired. Now, the only Calypsonians from way back that was left in the show was myself, Pontiques, and Sunbeam. No, Springer came after. Springer Ziggy came after. Pontiques is the oldest performing calypso right now. Give him a round of applause. That man have a lot of respect for me, and I have a lot of respect for him. A lot had doubt, but didn't know that I wasn't a makeup, that I was born with it naturally. If they had listened when they was launching Carnival, now I didn't hear it myself, but somebody called me from all in Ireland and told me up on Cello radio station, up on Upbeat radio station, that I don't know what the question was posed to, what the question was that was posed to Shaman. But Shaman said, I had never compete against Roxy. I had never compete against Springer. But that man of Splinter, he's iron. They didn't hear that. They didn't hear that. In the parade, somebody shout out to me this year again, them famous words. When they mean say you run, them say you only sing when you know you're going to win. I've been in competition, and there was 2 cars before. There was a half-acre land. I won none. Repeater won one of those vehicles. He came to me the evening of the show. He said, Splinter, boy, you got a better song than me. But because you released that song, I'm going to beat you tonight. And it did happen. You know, sometimes we run late. And like I say, Calypso don't make money. So I had my axe to grind also. And I would quote some words from Shot. Night and day are catching hell. People think are doing well just because I sing a few calypso. But that is my misery. Calypso do make money. And whenever they tell me those things, they always ring in the back of my head. This year, things was a lot better. And I would say thanks to, in terms of finances, to prepare for the show. And I want to say thanks to Chapo, Jed, George Reed, the bass heads, for jumping on board and raising some funds to help cover the costs. Also, Lanville Harrigan and some others that did contribute it. I would like to say special thanks to Brother Lee, Spracker, Returner, my background vocalists, Gwyneth, Jennifer, Sandra, Amelia, and one that didn't sing with y'all tonight, Priscilla, was always there for me. And also singing Angie. She backed me up at times and she was always there with me with my presentation. Some of the songs that was played here tonight, the music was arranged by Justin Mustache. And I just say up to today, I got the best music coming out of that studio. I don't know why. I would also like to thank Fung Gums. No, he's not. I don't think he's here. I would like to thank Fung Gums, my arranger, also, who did a great job. He did both songs this year. And he worked with me also in 2011. Some names might get left out, but I'm going to try. Kelvin. Kelvin has always been by my side. I just call Kelvin my personal guitarist. But Calypsonians believe that when I come in the band that Kelvin would do me special favors, but that ain't so. He never did anything special for me. But I would go to Kelvin rather than stop in the band in practice time. I would go to Kelvin at home. And I would say, Kelvin, bring the guitar. And I would tell Kelvin, listen, I'm not hearing this in the song. Take up the music sheet, and we walk it out. He will go back to the band, and it will be done. And also, Kingsley. That was a great man. I remember one year, I wasn't feeling well, just like when Mr. Ray come to pick me up. I wasn't feeling well. And I wanted to get off the truck because I didn't want to sing. Kingsley take on my card to beat me. I would also like to thank Vione and Ray Hill. That was my seamstress for years. I also had a tailor in St. Martin from Haiti. He's now deceased. I would like to thank Platinum Band over the years for the great music. I would like to thank my family. I would like to thank Marcia for putting up with me. I would like to thank my sister Iona and Michael, Jacqueline. I can't do less than thanking Mecca for all the courage I would like to thank Jackie Bryan, for dancing that song that the Honorable Deanne Kentish spoke about tonight. And she did travel to Dominica with me to perform that song too. I would like to thank my fans. There's so many, I can't call names. But I did an interview with Keith Stonegrave. Keith Stonegrave didn't call y'all fans. He called y'all my army. Y'all really represented in 2024. Thank you. That's it, folks. There's a lot more I can say, but that's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. So, the little brain getting, that's a big. All women in here knows exactly how I cuss one another. Yeah, women cuss one another in a terrible state. Like, you move your daughter's head from here, thinking with respect. And going while I'm talking. So I remembered one evening at my mom's home, Splinter came to practice. And Splinter felt that I was leaning more on politics than he. Splinter started out the yard. All the way down by the corner. Splinter cussing me. Back and holding it up. That didn't stop me. I think that would make us get a little closer. But it all happens. Because there was a lot of Tom and Tree days, Bladder Tree evenings, guitar underneath there, board, hooping and dropping on you. All of that happened, and trying to get it all together. But I don't think, I shouldn't say this, but it's a long road to travel to get close to Dr. Splinter. And we're looking at some of the youngsters who coming, but not just coming. Dr. Splinter wants to work with them to bring them closer. Give him a hand. A very, very thought. Now, with Dr. Splinter, you spoke about repeater, Keith Carty. Could not be here tonight, but he sent a message for you. It's a short. I have to look for it again. It's a short message that he want to make sure that that's being played. So I'm going to play it, look for it, get it back here, it just slipped out. Yeah, okay. So we didn't have it coming through the system, but I'm going to use the microphone to get it for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to accept the protocol that has already been established. First, I would like to apologize for my absence here in person due to unforeseen circumstances beyond my control. But however, I might be absent in body, but definitely not in mind. My task tonight is to share a few words on behalf of my fellow competitor, family member, and most importantly, a very, very good friend. What has he meant to me during my Calypso career. Well, I've known Splinter from way back before 1978, but it all started Calypso-wise back in 1978 when Splinter, Returner, and then I would say I came into the Calypso scene as representatives of, I would say, Stony Ground, Deep Waters, and Island Harbor area. And he has always been that inspirational figure to me that has made me to become a very competitive Calypsonian as well. I can recall back in my latter years of competing where I saw it fit not to go on stage being properly attired. And one day he reached out to me and said, "What is going on? This is not the standard you have set for yourselves before. My advice to you is don't reduce that standard that you have set for yourself." Of course, the dress code that I used throughout my career was influenced by him, because we all know when he came on stage, he was always very much well attired. His calypsos has always been at a very high standard, and I can recall telling him once that I don't think I can ever recall a bad song that he has sung. And that has been the norm with him throughout the years. He has been competing, I would say, from 1978 until now with a few absences. But this year when he decided that he would come back to do the song Resilience and Hope and What is Carnival, I felt that this could be the end of an illustrious career. And as we all celebrate here tonight, it certainly was. But he came back and he sang and captured both crowns, the local crown and of course the Leeward Islands crown. And for him to leave now on a high, I think we all should really applaud him. Splinter has always been that type of individual who would give it his all. And if the songs were not quite up to par, then he would not compete. Only goes to show the standard that he has set for himself. So Splinter, in you exiting the Calypso arena, I think you has done a tremendous job in terms of the level of the culture, your dedication to the culture, and of course the art form. I would like to wish you a very happy retirement, and I hope that God will bless you in everything else that you choose to do as you venture forward in this life. Again, thank you for all that you have done for me. I really appreciate it. And to all your fans, thank you as well.
Yes. Let him know that you all heard it. So give him another round of applause. You have heard it. Now we're going to pull the curtains down. And that pulling the curtains down are these beautiful awards, crystal awards, that is going to be distributed to the king, to Spracker, and somebody felt that they should sponsor one of these things to Brother Lee. You were going to go say that, you know. However, just before that, Splinter wants to say a word or two more. What's that?
What happened? My brother Bertana just reminded me that there was two background vocalists that I didn't mention, which is Brenda Harrigan and Brenda Huggins. Give them a round of applause, please. I also didn't mention the person who I would send my songs to before anybody else to criticize them or tell me what they think. And this year, I don't know, I had to, they give me the green light late, but I had to feel it out a bit, because when I send the person, what is carnival? They asked me, they told me they want to hear the second verse. They wasn't feeling the song. But I rushed in the studio to do the song. I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't feeling well at all. I was feeling sick. I was just getting over food poisoning. I rushed in the studio the Wednesday. I was heading to New York the Friday, and Spracker was heading to New York the Saturday. So I had to get his song done, regardless of how I was feeling, because I wanted Spracker to play the guitar on the song. But the problem with the song, while I was in New York sitting down, Brother Lee called me. He said, Splinter, the chorus of that song ain't cutting it. He said, I'm going to do a chorus and I can send it to Funk. He do it, send it to Funk. He sent it to Funk, and then Funk sent it to me. I said, Funk, if we got to use that, we might as well go back to what we had. So the next day, Funk sent me another band chorus. He said, Splinter, I use what I got from Brother Lee, and I use some of my stuff, and this should soothe everybody's palate. And I sent it to my sister-in-law again, Linda, Franklin's wife, and she was pleased. That's the person I always send my songs to criticize them before I let them out there. Linda Bryan. Thank you.
I was just given the headset for Lloyd's Live because I want to think that Lloyd would have realized it's a surprise in these microphones to Splinter. So I'm going to de-phone myself and get the phone to hug the mic. So, go right ahead. Go ahead. We're not getting you loud. We're not getting you loud. We're not getting you loud to the headset. Try again.
Okay. Good night.
Gone up a little bit more. Try again.
Good night.
Good night.
This is Michael Bryant. And I just want to say congratulations to my brother Splinter. Job well done. I think that he is worthy of what is going on tonight. So I just had to call in and just say to him that as a big brother, I really appreciate him for who he has been and for that masculine figure in my life. And I think that he has done an exceptional job. And just say, job well done, Dr. Splinter. This is your brother, Michael.
Hey, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. And let me give back the headset to who it belongs. Thank you, thank you. What do you want to say to him? Come. The mic, this is supposed to pick you up too. Yeah, what do you want to say to him before he handle all that?
Well, Splinter and myself, we go way back from in the 90s. We work at the Department of Agriculture together, and we developed this brotherly friendship. And apart from being a co-worker, he was a best friend. And then being a Calypsonian, coming from the West, I was like, wow, this dude is so great. And, that bond has just remained. And I was telling my son earlier, one of the boys over there, he asked, was like, who's Splinter? I said, Jamai. He said, Splinter's your friend? I said, yes. I said, you remember when we used to go for eggs, Splinter used to always give us an extra crate of eggs? And that's the generosity of Splinter. And of always, being a fan. I spoke to, I think it was Hatchat. I said, there are very few Calypsonians that I'm a fan of. And I named them, and the top one was Dr. Splinter. And to my friend, congratulations.
1, 2.
And may the sky be your limits. I know he said you're on a pause until they step out of line. And I do wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you, Lloyd. That was Lloyd live on Lives Live. So, as I said, I'm bringing on the curtains right now. And there's no better time than now to call up Mr. Franklin Bryan, the only Calypsonian that had dethroned Splinter, made him cry, and give up his... Otherwise, he'd been gone 6, 7, 8, 9. Returner stop him. But let me give you a little something about Returner. I mean, I was a writer for all the family, I didn't know why. But Returner better than Splinter, But you all don't see it. Because he stopped as soon he went the crown from Splinter. If this guy was still there, Splinter would have been running up steps to catch him. A very good performer. I went with him to Barbados and performing with the world Calypsonians. Sparrow said, boy, that boy great, Wherever I go, I want him. Returner didn't go back. But this is the brother of Splinter. Was a very serious Calypsonian. Sit with Splinter this year, even though he fall asleep certain times. Well, you're going because it was night after night after night. Boy, I tired, But we get it going. So I want to have you to pass on this award along with the Minister of Culture, or from the Ministry of Culture, and that is Honorable Miss Elegant, Miss Diane on the side, Kentish Rogers. Miss Rogers, we're going to start with Spracker. Yes, and Spracker is not here, but he has a representative, which is his niece. She'll be here to collect this. Come, the cameras are waiting for you. Spracker would be very proud to know that you have collected this gift. You could take it out of the box, take it out and present it. Make sure she don't drop it because it's cheap. When you're giving somebody a token of any appreciation, you know how our parents used to bake Johnny cake? The size of the bottom of the pot? Because they want to give that to that person so they could share it. So here's it that we're giving this to you because of the great work that Spracker has done with Dr. Splinter and myself. And I always say this, I don't know. I'm sorry, but you should have been down on this side down here. She's going to pass it this Come down. In fact, we need to move this, right? Okay. So, yeah. Right. So I always wonder this. I don't see Spracker. I don't talk with Spracker. But we work together to get Splinter going. I know how it works. It happens, and it is. I do appreciate that. It's only of late that I begin to talk with Spracker on WhatsApp a little bit. He said, Lee, are you boys good, you know? I don't know how I did it, but I'm very good. And I remember that Spracker is in the area of the Quarter, the Farrington, Tanglewood. Yeah? And that's where that culture is growing. So, Honorable Deanne, you're going to pass on this to Mr. Returner, who will pass it on to. And your name is?
Sharon Richardson.
Sharon Richardson. And shake of hands. Right. Right shake, left give. Yes. Left give. You can't be talking that without the mic. Say it, please.
I said I am happy to present this award to you for your Uncle Spracker. Great man.
So this is awkward because this one is for Brother Lee. So Brother Lee can't announce himself as a awardee, so I'm going to have him stand on the other side. Yes? And I'm going to present this award, pass it on, to Brother Lee for writing support for Dr. Splinter. Thank you very much.
I also want to say thanks for Brother Lee for helping me through my Calypso journey. But we're saying tonight that this is a journey end for Splinter and Calypso. But competition. But we also have a new journey, and that is to write. And I remember one of the songwriters says, if you want to make a hit record, you got to sing for who? Yeah? So I am challenging Brother Lee tonight. This is a little heavy, but I know your writing could be heavier. To put pen to paper so that Dr. Splinter and myself can start to produce a hit record, not for money, but to give to charity, maybe the Cancer Society of Anguilla, and they in turn can take the funds and donate it to the people of Anguilla. So Brother Lee, the work has just begun.
Normally, when you receive an award, you would make not a speech, you say a few words. Want a speech? Yeah, she read it. I don't know if you heard it, but she read it to say, presented to Leroy, Brother Lee Richardson, for songwriting support given to Dr. Splinter throughout the years. And this was given in August 2024. She said it, but I don't know if you heard it. Okay. I'm very thankful for the person who decided that I should have this award. And I'm gonna bust the bubble, right? Bust the bubble. So I was thinking about this award presentation, and I came up and say, I probably can have this in my backyard. Just push a tent and get some of Splinter fans and present these awards. Now, this wasn't in place then. It was just my idea. And while I say that, I remember that Chapeau and Jed had a fundraiser for Dr. Splinter. Let me put on this word drop. No, I got it. No, no, I got it. No problem. Now, when you remember that Jed and Chapeau, along with the bass heads, had a fundraiser for Splinter. And it was very successful. A little bit of people, but joyous. It was very good. So when I came up with this initiative, I approached Chapeau and Jed. And I let them know, along with my niece, Karen, I let them know what I wanted to do. No, Brother Lee, you cannot do this. Splinter bigger than this. This is a retirement. You can't retire a man in your backyard. These two guys, Chapeau and Jed, very I can't thank them enough. The only thing that I gotta use my strap, you know what I mean, right? You know, a couple of licks sometimes. I can't thank them enough for the level that this has taken based on the whole idea of a retired Calypsonian, Dr. Splinter. Thank you. And the other, let me get up here. Yes. Y'all have the programs? And you know whose name gonna come up? So why didn't come forward? I'm just kidding. This award will be presented to Dr. Splinter and Honorable Deanne Kentish will read what's on this here.
Okay, this award is presented to Dr. Splinter on your retirement from the Calypso Art Form from all fans and community, August 2024.
Thank you.
You want a rematch? Just the other day, I was reading an article, and it says the government of Trinidad has moved a motion in the House of Assembly to honor the late Winston Bailey and the Calypso Rose. I say no more. I was listening to David Rudder the other day when he received an award. He says, you did the hard work and somebody marked the papers. I must tell you, Splinter has done the hard work and you, his fans, marked the papers. It is a great honor for me to present this award tonight to my brother, who I whooped a few years ago. Okay, get a doorman, Brother Lee, go pick up the funds. Everybody leave and come back. Peter, come back. And we would see. Anyhow, it is a great privilege for me to present my brother with this award. I mean, I have seen my brother day after day from 1978 until now, studying the art form. Never sing a song unless it was to his perfection. Tonight, I am truly grateful on behalf of my deceased Thunder, Commander, and also my other brother and my family to present this award to my brother. And I want to run with this, but it's all right.
Hey, thanks very much. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate it. Sincerely appreciate it. Now, we talking about run with this. Where all my trophies and crowns are? Where you live? So you could take it? Everything is at the house where he lives.
But Returner, you said you want us to write songs to sing for the Lord. What all them songs they give you sing for the Lord, what you do them? What you do with them?
I'm saving them for the golden record.
Thank you. And closing remarks. We're done by Shelia. You want to say a few words? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Diane. She wants to place it in there for you. Okay. We're done the closing remarks by Honorable Shelia Rogers Webster.
Thank you, Brother Lee. Good evening, everyone. Adopting the protocol that has already been established, a special good evening to all invited guests, but a special good evening to Dr. Splinter and District 3. I don't mean to brag, but District 3 is the home of Calypso. I don't mean to brag, and it is absolutely an honor to be here tonight to celebrate with Dr. Splinter, to celebrate his legacy, his contribution to this amazing art form. As a child, there were many carnivals where members of my family went down to the valley, sometimes walking, just to support Dr. Splinter. For us as children, he was a living legend, a myth, a rare breed. He represented unity and shared love within the communities of Waterses, Cars Bottom, Stony Ground, Little Dix, Shoal Bay, the Machini, and so many other surrounding communities. By the time I was an adult, Dr. Splinter had actively stopped singing calypso. However, he still sent shockwaves through our community by the mere mention of his name. This carnival season, Dr. Splinter brought back passionate, loud calypso supporters. He brought them out in their numbers, particularly from across the Valley North District. Tonight, Dr. Splinter, as your district representative, it is truly an honor to celebrate you and your family for the contribution that you have made to the art form and to our community over the years. We thank you, we honor you, and we love you. This evening, I wish to thank the following persons for making tonight a reality. To Brother Lee for his innovative idea and initiative, and not just for this, but for all the contributions that you've made to cultural preservation over the years. We thank you. To Mr. Jed Hunt and Chapo Rogers and George Reed for assisting with the planning of the ceremony. Please give them a round of applause. Also to Miss Leonicia Richardson for the catering of the meal. To Simon Rogers, Merlin Rogers, and Karen Richardson for the preparation and decorations that you see here this evening. Please give them all a round of applause. To DJ SWAT for the music and sound system. To Gaff and the lighting for the lighting and streaming. And of course, to Lloyd's Live for carrying this live. Please give them a round of applause so that persons, not just here in Anguilla, but many fans, especially in St. Thomas and all over the world, are able to celebrate with us. Please give him a round of applause. To all the fans and supporters and well-wishers, and to everyone who have made individual financial pledges. What Brother Lee did is he collected pledges from many different individuals across Anguilla to make this evening ceremony special and a success. So please give all the contributors a round of applause. And of course, this evening, to those who are on the program, to Mr. Kenneth Maynard and Mr. Lennox Vanterpool, thank you. To Mr. Canon Reed Simon, we thank you. Brother Lee, thank you. To Mr. Youssef Ali, thank you. To the Honorable Minister of Culture, Mrs. Deanne Kentish Rogers, thank you. To Mr. Rodney Ray, thank you. To Mr. Steve Hotshot Hodge, thank you. To the mighty Linga for his tribute, thank you. To Mr. David Carty for his special keynote address, thank you. To the background singers, Gwyneth, Jennifer, Amelia, and Sandra, for your rendition, thank you. To Mr. Courtney Morton, the chairman of Calypso, thank you for your remarks as well. To Mr. Ivan Connor Jr., the chairman of the Anguilla Summer Festival Committee 2024, thank you. To Ms. Vero for the special tribute to Dr. Splinter, singing his very own Hope and Resilience and Hope, thank you. And of course, to the presentation of the awards by the Honorable Deanne Kentish Rogers, and a very special Calypsonian, also very special to District 3, Returner. Please give him a round of applause. And of course, this evening, we would just like to thank all of you for taking the time to celebrate with us here today. To Dr. Splinter's family who are overseas, who came from overseas to be here to celebrate with him, and who have always been there to support him. We also thank you. And of course, to Repeater, who couldn't be here, we also thank you for sending your remarks. So again, have a pleasant evening as we continue to celebrate Dr. Splinter. Thank you.
Yes, while she was giving thank you to some of the contributors, we want to recognize Ming's. You have some red wine and white wine, right? Ming's Supermarket in Southfield. We call her Anna, right? She made a contribution. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Ming's. And that's going to do it for us. Anybody else on the floor want to say something quickly? 1 word, 2 words? Are we just going? Thank you all so much. Okay, here's the big man. Simon.
Thank you very much. Let me have this mic. Yes, I want to say something very important here. Man like Splinter, we worked together in the hospitality industry for 20 plus years. We're still together. He's my boss. Kenneth Maynard is my boss. Brother Lee's my boss. I have a lot of bosses, but I respect everyone here. But I want to say to the people of Anguilla and the whole region, he's a legend. A legend. This guy said to me, "Simon, I'm going to die." I said, "You're going to die before you die." You work together. I said, "You go ahead and do what you have to do. Don't worry about it. Pray to God." And he went through a lot. You know, that hurt my heart. I couldn't get to the Carnival Village because I was busy doing other things. But I cried. He said, "I'm going to get the van." What do you call it? Brother Lee? Chanette, or what the hell they called them things. He said, "I'm going to do that. I'm going to win the local. I'm in the regional." And he did it. And not only that, thank you, Lloyd. And he did it. So I cried. I had to cry. And Kenneth Maynard, you guys need to be honored. He's the best joiner I ever seen in the region, Anguilla, and the whole Caribbean. The best Calypsonian, regionally and all over. A lot of people you have to honor, Brother Lee. You know, yourself also, huh? You have to honor me too. You don't know all about me, but you have to do that. Good, great. But to all the people who support him, God bless you all. He's a great man. He's a legend. And you can't take it away from him, huh? Good night.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon. Yes. Good night to all of you. Enjoy the remainder of the night. Safe drive home. And remember that we had a good time. Thank you.